of Tuff Trax. We're in Charleston, West Virginia again this week for incredible action with the superstars of monster truck racing on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. Qualifying has just been completed. I'm out here in the pits with a guy who is part of a big story already developing here in Charleston, the wild hair and Marvin Smith. You're going to see the incident in qualifying when Marvin actually, well, you just tell us about the run when you and Dennis Anderson and Gravedigger got together at the end.
Well, we qualified together, and we both came over the hill, and we got to the cars, and he took a little bit of my lane, and I wanted to go to the same hole he was, so one of us had to give. We neither were engaged, so we just had a little bit of a, not real bad, a little bit of a, smack, little kiss. Let's call it a kiss.
Little love tap, I guess.
Love tap, yes. Hey, if you're going to run, you got to run for it. You can't play with it.
You know, Marvin, the new paint job, you're in the wild hair now. You were fast qualifier last week. You ran and you smacked the wall. This week you come out and you're into a Gravedigger. It looks like a new Marvin Smith, is it?
I tell you what, the competition's so fierce out here today. Now last year, like I had said before, I wasn't really happy with my season. This year we come out here to win. We're not here to hurt anyone, but we're here to run tough and be competitive and go for it.
Marvin Smith going for it in wild hair already. He and Gravedigger have got together. The superstars of monster truck racing are in Charleston, West Virginia, doing battle this week at the Charleston Civic Center, trying to move another step closer to the World Championship that'll be determined over the course of 1990. The guy who got off to the best start last week was Dennis Anderson. He's with Army Armstrong.
We're standing with a man who started 1990 off the right way. First win on the World Championship Series, the Gravedigger of Dennis Anderson. However, Dennis, are we looking at a little deja vu? In 1989, you started the same way, and it went downhill.
Yeah, it did. But that's what we're going to do is we're going to forget 89. That was a tough season, although I finished up fourth. But this year, I'm looking for that points championship. I mean, I want to win it. We've got a lot more money, on hand now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to have about 3 months, through the season. I'm going to change trucks because we're allowed one truck change a year. And I can come out with some fresh iron. I think I can lay these boys down.
Speaking of fresh iron, there's a kid out of New Jersey, goes by the name of the Outlaw-Mike Wine with the Ford camp. No love lost here. He wants you worse than anybody. He believes this is going to be Ford's first world championship. What do you have to say about Mike Wine and the Outlaw Ford?
Mike wants to, he'd rather beat me than anybody out there. He tells me that himself too, but there's not any love lost between us. Like I say, when he gets to the line, I dislike him just as bad as he dislikes me.
Yeah, you guys say that and you kind of smile at each other, but there's really not a lot of friendship there. There is a rivalry, isn't there?
Yeah, it is. I mean, once we get in those trucks, bud, and we're to the line, when that light goes down, that's it. There's no playing.
How about Steve Wilke, driving a USA 1 truck? He was a mechanic. He's stepping up to the driving chores. Is he going to come around and be a player this year for the national championship, or are you going to worry about him at all?
I'm not going to worry about him too much. He's still got a lot to learn. Steve, he's a decent driver now, but he hasn't got that bonsai in him, I don't think, but we'll find out.
Say Wilke's a decent driver, Wine's an okay driver. Who's the best driver on the Monster Truck Tour?
I'd say I am.
Well, that's it from down on the floor. We're getting ready for the second battle royal for the World Championship in 1990. Let's check with Chris Chapman.
Thanks, Army. Coming up later here on Tuff Trax, we'll talk with TNT Tech official Mike Feller about some proposed new rules for the 1990 monster truck racing season. These rules are designed, from what I understand, to make the sport even more competitive than it already is. Let's go now to Scott Douglas.
We told you that the qualifying round a little bit earlier provided plenty of thrills and highlights. Let's look back at how these trucks qualified and the excitement that was generated before we even get to the side-by-side eliminations. Now, Army, that's not unusual to see some great runs in qualifying, but for some reason this round seems to even hold a little more excitement. First up, Gary Wiggins, Mopar Magic, Bennett Clark, and Clydesdale. A couple of trucks that we really want to keep an eye on. These guys could be dark horses in 1990.
They can be dark horses, but it was so important to each one of these guys to qualify. I cannot stress enough how important it is to qualify in the top half. Be in the quick half of the field, you get lane choice over the slower half. And believe me, 1990, that is going to be very, very important. Qualifying turns into a war round itself, Scott. And both drivers want to go quick. Dodge close to the camera, Chevrolet furthest away. he, Scott?
Gary Wiggins, the Mopar Magic Dodge, you know, really the only Dodge thus far that looks like he's going to be a player for the World Championship, and he's really building a lot of fans. That 446 would have been fast time last week. So let's keep an eye on that as we watch some of the other times in qualification round action. The Liquidator Ford, Bob Fisher, this is really just our second look at him here on Tuff Tracks, but I know Ford fans like the way that truck looks.
I like the way that truck looks. If they gave a reward away for one of the best engineered trucks, that would have to be a runner for it. Believe me, it is detailed to the max. And who does he go up against? Man, a guy that seems to always have a lot of luck. Kid Rarig. Now remember, this truck before the year's over is going to be driven by Karen. We're going to have a young lady doing the driving of Thunder Chicken before 1990's over. Right now, the business at hand qualifying. Who's going to get quick time?
The Thunder Chicken and Liquidator trying to see who can outdo the other. Now, fast time overall has been as Anderson's Gravedigger at 4:39, then Wiggins and Mopar at 4:46. Chicken with a good time, Army at 4:62.
Cutting underneath, anything underneath the 5-second bracket makes you a player for to win this evening.
Great action. We're going to see some more qualifying highlights, including the run by the Jersey Outlaw Ford. Remember, Mike Wine had that truck in the finals 1 week ago here on Tuff Tracks. Tuff Tracks is brought to you by Micro Machine, the most colossally collectible vehicles in the world. If it doesn't say Micro Machine, it's not the real thing. I'm Scott Douglas with Army Armstrong and Chris Chapman, bringing you the superstars of monster truck racing, battling for the World Championship. After one race a week ago, Awesome Kong, who won in Birmingham, has the lead. Gravedigger, who won the race in Charleston, second. Then it's Jersey Outlaw. Mad Dog, a finalist in Birmingham, fourth. The defending world champion Equalizer is fifth. King Crunch checks in at number 6. Thunder Chicken off to a good start. He's seventh. Clydesdale, Jesse Bergey's playing for keeps, and Mopar Magic round out the top 10. That's after the first week of racing in 1990 on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. Ready to go in week number 2 here on Tuff Tracks. John Kwasniewski brings out the Buffalo Tremor, putting down a qualifying shot here against Mike Wine and the Jersey Outlaw. You always want to beat the other guy, but these are for qualifying time.
You know, we're qualifying, and you notice Mike Wine comes out. He turns around and points a finger at Johnny K. He's taking his qualifying run serious. This guy gets so pumped up and he gets behind the wheel. He's like the mean little Eddie you went to school with. Nobody want to mess with this kid when it goes to the qualifying round.
Again, 4:39 up to this point was the best time we've seen. That's from the Gravedigger.
Wow, look at the, oh! Good lead by the Ford, but Johnny K came back on him. Outlaw's going to take the win, but Johnny K's going to be tough. Look at that, both of them sub 5-second runs, Scott.
Again, the fast time from Gravedigger is 4:39, so you can see Outlaw is definitely in the hunt again. Anthony Fortier, a youngster in the Pony Express, with that Mustang sitting on top of the truck frame. And, you know, this is one that I think a lot of people are keeping an eye on, Army, but he really got a good reaction from the crowd in Charleston. They like the way that car truck looks. And, of course, the veteran, Dave Wieczorek, Nightlife, will be out to lay down a shot. Don't let anything that happens here surprise you, because the Nightlife generally doesn't qualify that well.
No, he doesn't push it out the back door in qualifying, but talking about crowd acceptance, the little Mustang, the candy apple paint, these people love it. Right now, Dave Wieczorek just put him down in his qualifying round.
He sure did. Nightlife, we're talking about him not qualifying that well. That's an excellent time at 4.66. He'll definitely be getting lane choice at least in the first round of competition. You know, last week USA 1 was in the middle of a real controversy. Transmission problem, he couldn't get it started and was actually sitting at the starting line, but not officially up to the starting line. So he couldn't qualify for points. He didn't get a chance to race. They had to pull him off. And then a transmission fire when he refired it. You know, the question is, did he just really almost set the thing on fire on purpose?
You know, I don't know. He's a very high-strung individual. You see the smoke coming out. What's happening? He's up on the RPMs right now. It's almost like you're going to go or you're going to blow. And in this case, it blew. However, I don't think he was trying to tear the vehicle up. He's the mechanic on that vehicle. He knows how much work is involved in it. I think the young man was just disgusted. And I think that tells the story right there, Scott.
And, you know, when he did fire it up, I know he was upset about not being able to get an official start because it cost him 3 points, and who knows down the road what that may matter. But I think he's more upset about these continuing transmission problems. They just can't, you know, Everett Jasper putting everything he has in this truck. These guys are working hard, but right now it's that one component, the transmission. But as you well know, everything's got the mesh army to win at this level of competition. And there you see, he fired it up, the fire started, and there wasn't question whether he was just kind of, you know, cooking it because he was so angry.
I don't think he was. Like I say, he knows what it takes to make this thing go. Yeah, he was frustrated, but he's still professional enough. That's just going to happen. I think he was just trying to take one last shot. Maybe it'll hold just for one last shot to get those 3 points. Scott, it's only the second week. But that might wind up costing that young man a chance at a national championship.
You never know when you run it down, battling for the title. All the best in the world each week. And now USA 1 is going up against Star Monster in qualifying. Now, just to lay down a time, but this will give us an indication if that transmission is right tonight and how he's running against Chris Tuffley, the youngster in the Star Monster out of Syracuse, New York.
Now, Chris is the youngest driver on the circuit. This is the first year he's run with us on a full-time basis. Only 19 years old. He's a class individual. He's got a future in this sport. He goes up against the beautiful red, white, and blue True Value Hardway USA 1 of Wilke. There's no smoke. Everything looks good. I think USA 1 is back and well for this race.
Boy, he laid down a shot. 4:52. Outstanding time for Steve Wilke and USA 1. Third best time overall. Here's the way they'll pair up. Look at that matchup. A rematch of the confrontation where they collided in qualifying, Gravedigger and Wildhair. Then Nightlife will meet Liquidator. That'll be followed by USA 1 coming out against the Buffalo Tremor, the bottom half of the bracket. First, it's Thunder Chicken going up against Clydesdale. The winner gets one of the fast losers. And the bottom part of the bracket, Outlaw-Mike Wine against Star Monster. Then Mopar Magic meet Pony Express. Speaking of Pony Express, Anthony Fortier having some problems with the Pony Express. Chris Chapman is going to go over and see what's going on.
Benny, do you think you're going to be able to have it ready for first round competition?
I have no idea. I might have blew a tire out. I have no chances at all if that's happened. Can't fix it in time. Suck.
Took a survey of who fans think is the most aggressive, wildest driver on the circuit today in TNT monster truck racing. These people would tell you the Gravedigger. Who's the guy who wants to take that name away and build that same reputation? It's Marvin Smith and the Wildhair. Earlier tonight in qualifying, when they're not supposed to be letting it all hang out, these two trucks collided. What happens? First round competition. Wildhair and Gravedigger are eyeball to eyeball, this time to eliminate one or the other.
God, it's almost like two boxers standing in the middle of the ring staring at each other. Neither one is going to back off. Believe that. Boy, again, you can feel the drama in this building, can't you? The electricity. Both of them powered by supercharged Chevrolet. The red lights on the Gravedigger indicate everything is 100% go. Meanwhile, the Wildhair trying to make a new name for himself with a new truck.
This ought to be a dandy. First round competition opens up with a sensational main event race. Wildhair against the Gravedigger on tough tracks.
See how they take this hill? The good bounce is going to win it, I predict. Let's see. Oh, Anderson. Oh, look at here. Anderson stayed low and took the win. He stayed down on the deck, Scott, and that proved to be the winning philosophy.
Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger almost tries to go out the end of the Charleston Civic Center. Well, that's what happened to Wildhair a week ago. But Dennis, a very impressive win over a hard-charging Wildhair, the same truck that was fast qualifier just 1 week ago. Dennis working his way over to talk to Army Armstrong about an opening round win over the Wildhair.
Well, Dennis, the qualifying session was super. You come right back, you draw him in the first round. I just can't believe it.
I know, neither could I, because I knew Marvin, he's out to get me. And Marvin's running good. He's got a new fiberglass body on his truck. He's running good. I knew I was going to have to run hard, so I gave it what I had.
What goes through your mind as a driver on that? I mean, that is scary. You got 12,000-pound vehicle running 35, 40 mile an hour at another man's wall. 20 minutes ago, you guys got together, you come back, you pair up again, and you go right back at it like two mean old bulldogs.
Yeah, well, that's what we got to do is we got to get out there and run just as hard as we can, but try to stop. That wall always wins.
You won last week. You're the national points leader right now, Dennis. The position you've been in before. Can this be the year where you're going to hang on and win this thing?
I hope so. I really think so, because we've worked on the truck a lot. We didn't have much time. Our points started out a lot earlier this year. We didn't have a lot of time to do things that I wanted to do, but truck seems to be working good for us right now.
Hang in there. You got the hot hand. We'll see you in the next round.
All right, thanks a lot.
He was fast qualifier in this round of competition as well, which gives him another 5 points. As he and Awesome Kong look like early on, they're going to battle for that point lead. Liquidator, the Ford, comes out against the Nightlife Chevrolet. Everybody loves a Ford-Chevy matchup. We've got one for you right here on Tuff Trax.
Dream race right here. Who's going to take it? Chevrolet this time, Scott.
All Nightlife, Dave Wieczorek out of Grand Island, Nebraska, puts Bob Fisher and the Liquidator on the trailer. We're going to get an isolated view of the Nightlife on the replay and watch Dave Wieczorek hanging out the window.
He really made it look awfully easy on that run. Didn't look like he leaned on that equipment a whole lot, Scott.
This ought to be an entertaining matchup next as Buffalo Tremor is coming out against that guy. Steve Wilke in USA 1. Last week, he couldn't get her rolling because of transmission problems at the starting line. So let's see how USA 1 gets to the starting line this time around. He wants to tighten up and get those points, but he wants to get the win over Johnny K.
I'll tell you what's going on right now. Johnny K is second-generation motorsports. His dad was a drag racer. There's no trick in drag racing. You make them burn down on a line. USA 1 had trouble with the transmission last week. Johnny K is going to let him think about it, load that transmission up this week, and hopefully do the same thing. That's exactly what's going on right now. This kid is playing like he's a professor in that red truck, and it's working for him.
It looked like USA 1 didn't see the green, and Buffalo Tremor gets him. And you're right, Army. He orchestrated that one as much with the mind and the sight job as he did with horsepower.
Well, that was a move of an old pro, and he's just a kid.
John Kwasniewski, the Buffalo Tremor, out of Buffalo, New York, coming away with an impressive victory as he puts away, gets a handshake from Mike Wine. He puts away Steve Wilke and the USA 1. Well, that's a big win for Johnny K. Army's going to talk to him right now.
Johnny K, an awfully good run for you, but it looked like you might have been playing mind games on that starting line. Is that exactly what it was?
Well, we were idling a little higher. I just backed up a little bit. I just started edging up a little forward. We were a little anxious to go, and he backed me up a little bit. I don't know.
I don't know whether to believe that or not. You're sitting there smiling awfully big. Going to the next round, you put USA 1 on the trailer. You're doing a good job. We'll see you next time around.
Thank you, Army.
When we come back, the Outlaw rides again. Owner Nick Rossi and driver Mike Wine are anxiously awaiting the completion of their new truck later on this year.
The truck is doing all it is capable. I'm doing all I am capable of. We just need a little bit lighter, a little bit quicker, and we need just something else on the other drivers that they don't know about. They know this truck. They do not know the new truck coming out in March.
The Major League in Professional Motorsports, TNT's Monster Truck Challenge, bringing you the superstars of monster truck racing side by side, eliminating each other here on Tuff Trax. It's Kid Rarig's Thunder Chicken, his first round competition against Bennett Clark's Clydesdale. Hey, a good north-south battle here. Out of Pennsylvania, the Chicken. Out of Georgia, the Clydesdale.
Well, I cannot believe Kid Rarig and that Thunder Chicken. He is on a roll this year.
Well, Clydesdale just never got off the line, did he?
And Kid Rarig will be the first to tell you, he's not the full-time driver for that truck. He sustained some injuries, and he's looking for somebody else to drive the truck.
Back injuries, neck injuries, and Kid's always hurting. But I'll tell you, he's somebody that really comes out and goes all out. And as we've talked about and documented here over the last couple of weeks, this is a guy who will surprise you. You don't think much when you talk about the favorite of the Thunder Chicken. What happens? He always seems to be in that final 8, and he is again this week. Army's working his way over to talk to a sore but victorious Kid Rarig.
Well, Kid Rarig, this is kind of a unique position for you. You weren't even going to be the driver of this truck this year. You're going to kick back and hire you a driver, and you're keeping moving through these rounds of elimination. You might want to stay in that driver's seat.
Yeah, we thought about that, but my back and neck won't take it every week like this, so Karen's going to probably start driving in Minnesota next week, and
Well, this run here I felt pretty confident about because I was 4th qualifier and Bennett was 8th, so I felt pretty good about this run.
Truck looking okay. You ready for the next round?
I'm ready to go. I'll take it one run at a time.
Next up, the Ford fans' favorite in 1990 may just be this guy right here, the Jersey Outlaw, Mike Wine. He'll be going up against Star Monster. Now, we do understand that the Outlaw is not 100%. There have been some steering problems. Army is over with the owner of the truck, Nick Rossi.
Nick Rossi, what's the problem with the Outlaw Ford?
The shaft coming out of the steering column keeps popping back out of the orbital pump.
It's in the truck now. Will it stay in the truck for the whole run?
Yeah, it'll stay in for the run. We're just going to have to fix it back after the round.
Outlaw lines up to go up against Star Monster. The problems he's talked about, here they go.
Well, I tell you what, Scott, that didn't intimidate that young man one bit. He drove that truck awfully hard.
Tight run, but he got the win, and Army, as you well know, now he's safely into the quarterfinals. They'll have some time, Mike Wine, Nick Rossi, and the gang, to get back in the pits to work on the Jersey Outlaw and have that Ford ready to go and try and make it to the finals again this week here on Tuff Trax. Star Monster, the Dan Tassone's truck out of Syracuse, knocked off this time. And Chris Tuffley, an impressive youngster. I think Tassone's truck will be seen a lot of in 1990. Right now, though, Mike Wine with Army Armstrong.
Well, Mike Wine, it seems to be working for you. We talked to your owner, Nick Rossi, just a minute ago before the run. He said it's a steering problem. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah, we worked on it last week when we ran, and the steering kept being a little slow, so we quickened it up. This time when we quickened it up, there's a worm gear that goes in between the orbital valve and the steering box. What we did, we just misaligned it, and I'm having to turn right to go left, left to go right. So compensating for that is just getting difficult. We're trying changing it in the pit, and we just doesn't have the pinions lined up yet. We're going to go back in the back and work on it right now.
So right now, when you made that run just a minute ago, you were turning backwards?
Turning backwards, turning the opposite way. Turning right to go left, turning left to go right.
Other than that, though, everything is okay?
Motor's running fantastic, and it's going to be Pony and Wiggins in the next round. Wiggins better make it, because I want Wiggins in the next round.
The Pony Express would like to prefer that it's him who gets the Outlaw, and then he'll put the Mopar Magic on the trailer. But I'll tell you, the Pony Express is obviously a youngster who I think has got a lot of potential, but he's going up against the superstars today, and boy, it's a lot to ask for him to come out against a veteran like Mopar Magic and Gary Wiggins and be able to beat him here in Charleston with the points, the money, the big time on the line right here in Charleston.
Yeah, but that doesn't seem to worry this kid at all. We were talking to him earlier. He's got a good attitude. He's going to take it one race at a time. He believes he can win. He's not afraid of anybody.
Wow, side by side, another one virtually too close to call between Pony Express and Mopar Magic. I'm going to tell you, this kid, Anthony Fortier, out of Bluefield, New Jersey, really putting on a show. Here's Wiggins. Look how high. Look at on the air under Mopar Magic, the Dodge, giving it quite a run. Here we see Pony Express in the air again.
God, I believe that air cost him the victory. Now, from my viewpoint, when he skied it, that gave the Mustang a chance to go on and take that win. Yeah, there's the winner coming up.
You are so right. The air cost him. Pony Express wins it. He earlier had police-type red lights on top of the Pony Express, but they're not around anymore. He lost them somewhere on that run, but he'll take that and go on back to the pit. You see the lights. They're being carried back. Hey, if that's all it took to win, I guarantee you Fortier is going to be happy with it. Chris Chapman's in the pits right now with Marvin Smith getting ready for the quarterfinals.
Several drivers faced problems during first-round competition. Among those, USA 1, Clydesdale, and Wild Hair. With me right now, the driver of Wild Hair, Marvin Smith. Marvin, tell me what happened out there.
I broke off 2 shocks. I knocked some bolts out of my transfer case, and it got hot. But we got it all fixed now and put back together. We're ready to go back in as fast loser and do it again. I had a bad run last time. I want to try to make up for it this time.
Well, good luck. Let's go on now and take a look at the rest of the pairings as we head into quarterfinal competition. It's going to be the Grave Digger facing Dave Wieczorek and Nightlife. Our next pairing is going to be second fast loser Mopar Magic coming up against Buffalo Tremor. And then we will have Marvin Smith and the Wild Hair as the fast loser, as you just heard him say, facing Kid Rarig and the Thunder Chicken. And rounding out the quarterfinals, it's going to be the Jersey Outlaw taking on the Pony Express.
When we come back, Kid Rarig and the Thunder Chicken are in the quarterfinals and about to ruffle the feathers of none other than the Wild Hair. Your dial is set perfectly for the superstars of monster truck racing. They're coming your way right here on Tuff Tracks. And when you say superstars, you've got to start with Dennis Anderson and the Grave Digger. We showed him to you in depth a couple of weeks ago here on Tuff Tracks. Now you're seeing him in action up close and personal in 1990, and his opponent, the Nightlife Chevrolet of Dave Wieczorek.
Wieczorek finished 5th, the national points chase in 1989, the conservative driver. Meanwhile, Anderson, the kamikaze kid, came home 4th in that points battle.
Side by side, ready to go in the quarterfinals. One moves to the Final Four, the other goes on the trailer. Dennis Anderson won a week ago.
Scott Anderson has got this thing covered. He's just going so smooth the way the vehicle comes over that jump and settles on the cars. Anderson could make it 2 in a row. Watch the replay come up. The front wheels, they just set down on the cars.
Dennis Anderson really dialed in, is going to the semifinals again, hoping to make it 2 in a row in Charleston, West Virginia. Anderson working his way over right now to Army Armstrong to talk about that win.
Ladies and gentlemen, we just received word of 4:19. Dennis Anderson, that is awesome.
Yeah, it is. I tell you what I've done, Army. I've been shooting out of this left lane all night, and I knew that last week I qualified a little bit faster in the other lane over there, so I said, I'm going to go ahead and give it a try. I lined up against Dave, and Dave doesn't always push it as hard as he can, so I gave it a try, and I think I'm going to stick in that right lane now because that's the fastest time of the night.
The chassis really looks like it's working. The rear motor seems the way to be on this track because once you get over the jump, it's just like Chicago was a year ago. The front end noses down, and man, you're going to town.
Yeah, that's what you got to do is try to keep those tires down and get them pulling forward.
The Digger off to a great start so far in 1990. He won last week here on Tuff Tracks. He's in the semifinals already this week with maybe more to come. Buffalo Tremor-John Kwasniewski out of Buffalo, New York, will come out to take on the Mopar Magic Dodge, Gary Wiggins from Williamston, North Carolina.
John, in that last interview, Dennis Anderson brought something out we got to watch in this race, that being the front end of the truck, the attitude of the truck. Anderson says you got to keep the front end down and keep it pulling. Now, both of these trucks have a history of skying real bad. They get a lot of air. It looks good, but you don't go as fast when you're flying.
Mopar Magic on the right-hand side of your screen. Buffalo Tremor coming at you out of that left-hand lane.
There's your air. Mopar Magic takes the win, but got a lot of air. The time on that run has got to be slower than the Grave Digger.
Gary Wiggins, Mopar Magic will get a good look at him this time. And there you see what Army was talking about, how high he kicked, but he still got the victory. Wiggins, with a win, will move into the semifinals. Coming out next, Wild Hair and Thunder Chicken. This ought to be a dandy matchup, and Wild Hair has really gotten off to a great start. Marvin Smith with the new attitude, the new paint job, the new truck. He was fast qualifier a week ago. Tonight, he literally locked horns and locked bodies with Grave Digger when they got together and crashed, although they didn't hurt each other in the qualifying round. Now he comes out against Thunder Chicken as Wild Hair tries to get into the semifinals.
Buy a ticket to a TNT event, this is what you're going to see. Competition at its best. Nobody's going to give you an inch. You've got to earn everything you can get in this sport. Look at this. I can't believe it. This guy is on a roll, Scott.
Thunder Chicken Kid Rarig gets the win over Marvin Smith's Wild Hair. Marvin had run so strong earlier, but an obvious problem is he can't finish the run. There he is, kind of suspended animation. Wild Hair sitting on top of the cars, and a bad break for Marvin Smith.
The front-wheel drive went away on the truck is the word we're getting, so he lost the drive shaft to the front. But how about the old Thunder Chicken staying alive?
Kid Rarig, there he is, getting the win and going over to see Army.
Kid Rarig, driver of the Thunder Chicken. You're kind of the sleeper monster truck in America, aren't you? Nobody really thinks that you're going to be around, but you just keep going round, around, around.
Hey, I figure it's my turn.
Kid Rarig will move into the semifinals.
Gotta like that answer. You can't be any more blunt than that. It's his turn to win.
Here's a guy who thinks it's his turn to win the entire event. Mike Wine and the Outlaw, the Jersey Outlaw out of Pennsauken, New Jersey. A Ford matchup as he'll take on the Mustang, the Pony Express.
Truck on the right runs with us all the time. Vehicle on the left does not. He's not a traveling pro, but the Pony Express has developed a tremendous crowd following. People love this Candy Apple Mustang. They also love the Outlaw. Both of these guys out of the Northeast, if nothing else, they want to take home the women bragging rights for the Ford. Oh, look at this. Look here, it's not a big upset.
A stunning upset as the Pony Express wins the battle of the New Jersey Fords. Anthony Fortier and the Pony Express has stunned Mike Wine and the Jersey Outlaw. The Outlaw has come into 1990 brash and cocky. He worked his way all the way to the finals against Gravedigger a week ago. But this week, he goes on the trailer in the quarterfinals. The youngster, the kid from Bloomfield, New Jersey, has stunned him. Anthony Fortier gets the win. He's going over to see Army Armstrong right now.
Oh, looks like the Mac tools are working for you on that rascal tonight. You're laying down some super shots out here.
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. It's all running good, and everything's coming together all in one shot. I had a real bad night last night. Put it all back together. I seem to be doing good. I hope to take it all the way.
You run a lot of exhibition stuff all around the country. This is the first opportunity I've had to see you actually race with these TNT monster trucks. How do they stack up? Are they what you thought they would be as far as being tough?
There's a couple of them that I don't think I really got a chance against, but I just give it my best. There's a lot of guys out there that are strong running guys. They do it for a living. It's a hobby for me. I'd like to make it a living. We're working at it.
Tell you what, you've impressed a whole lot of people. Good luck in that next round.
Thank you, Army.
Boy, you would think that kid may eventually make a living in this sport. We're told now that Mike Wine is upset about the start of the race. Now here's the start. As Wine came off the line a little bit slow. And obviously it cost him at the back end where Pony Express got the win. Let's go to Army Armstrong, who's going to go see what Mike Wine has to say about it.
Tonight we came up, they're doing a totally different thing. They moved the Christmas tree 2 feet back, which makes it harder at the window post to see. Tonight, Pony Express rolled over the line. When we did, me and Pony looked at each other, gave thumbs up to back up, restart the race. The starting man hit the light. When he did, I was starting at a neutral position. I took off. I was just unprepared.
Well, you don't have a problem with Pony Express. You got a problem with the TNT track officials.
Yes, we're going to talk about it, look at review the tapes, and if they feel that they did that, from now on, Army, what I'm going to do, when I go to the line, I don't care if I'm set, ready, or whatever. The green light goes, I go. I don't wait for nobody.
A very blunt and upset Mike Wine. Coming up, the crunch of the week. This one at the Charleston Civic Center. Tech people like Mike Speller get very busy trying to make sure the trucks are all legal for TNT competition.
Yes, there are rules in monster truck racing, and the man responsible for enforcing the rules for the TNT Motorsports organization, Mike Speller out of Colorado Springs, Colorado. Mike, very briefly, can you tell us about some of the rules that are involved in this sport?
Yeah, Army. First of all, as far as motors, the drivers are allowed to run only cast iron blocks and cast iron heads, and are limited to an 871 blower. They can run gasoline or alcohol.
Now, before an event, these vehicles do go through an inspection. You're involved in that inspection. What are you actually looking for? Are we talking just safety now, or what?
Well, of course, safety is the #1 issue. And we're checking kill switches to make sure that works, and we're looking at driveline loops, and that the drivers have got the right helmets on, you know, a right classification of helmets, that they got eye protection, gloves, and all this type of thing, and especially roll cages. That is one thing that we have improved on this year, as far as the thickness and how a roll cage is put in a cab.
That, my friends, is Buford. Buford the car. It belongs to a West Virginia lady by the name of Debbie Myers, and it's about to become a key focus of this week's Crunch of the Week.
Hold on to your seats for the amazing Crunch of the Week, brought to you by Micro Machines, the #1 colossally collectible vehicles in the world. If it doesn't say Micro Machines, it's not the real thing.
In Charleston, West Virginia, as part of the TNT Monster Truck Challenge, one of the radio stations involved put together a promotion that paid $1,000 to a West Virginia resident whose car was selected to become fodder for the Liquidator monster truck. Well, Buford is about to be laid to rest. Chris Chapman is over with Debbie Myers, who owned the car up to now.
crunch for poor old Buford. Hey, Scott, the engine on the car is still running. You believe it? The lights are still on. Buford refusing to die.
Liquidator. Here we go one more time with the crunch of the week. This car drove into the Charleston Civic Center. I don't think it's going to drive out. Liquidator-Bob Fisher putting the smash on poor old Buford in Charleston, West Virginia. The promotion was called Squeeze Your Lemon, and Debbie Myers got $1,000 for that lemon, but I'll tell you, she had a lot of fun with this thing, too. So did Liquidator on the crunch of the week.
I'm telling you, Scott, that thing is still running. Buford won't die. Look at this.
Let's see, Mike Wine is actually in there. Is he going to, what's he doing?
The lights are still on. He's going to try to drive that rascal out of here.
Mike Wine says, hey, if you could drive a monster truck, you could drive anything. He's behind the wheel of a completely fast. Look, he's trying to drive his thing.
Well, if you can drive a monster truck backwards like he's had to, this is no problem at all. Only people worried about it now are the film crew and the people standing in front of it.
Well, when we come back, I don't know if Buford will still be around, but the semifinals will definitely be up from Charleston, West Virginia, here on Tuff Trax.
Wonder how he's going to stop it.
Four of the most awesome pieces of machinery in the world are still alive at the Charleston, West Virginia Civic Center. Chris Chapman is ready to take a look at the Final Four tonight in Charleston, West Virginia.
It's time for semifinal racing action here in Charleston, West Virginia Civic Center. In just a moment, we're going to talk to some of the fans and see who they pick as their favorites as we head into this action. But first, let's take a look at the pairing. It's going to be the Gravedigger taking on Gary Wiggins and Mopar Magic. And our final pairing places Kid Rarig's Thunder Chicken against the new kid on the block, the Pony Express.
So that'll be the Final Four as Mopar Magic comes out to take on Gravedigger. Now, of course, Dennis Anderson, as we told you earlier, has recently moved to North Carolina, Kill Devil Hills, North Carolina. Gary Wiggins, a Tar Heel from way back out of Williamston, North Carolina. The Mopar Magic Dodge against that 1951 Chevrolet panel van of Dennis Anderson.
Something going on here I don't understand. Anderson quick in the show at a 419, got everybody covered out of the right lane. He's going out of the left lane in this round. I have no idea why he made that move. But it worked. Whatever it worked.
It definitely worked as Dennis Anderson's Gravedigger puts away Gary Wiggins and Mopar Magic. So the Digger is back in the finals once again this week as he tries to start off 1990 with back-to-back victories on the TNT Monster Truck Challenge. There you get a good look at the man behind the wheel of the awesome Gravedigger, Dennis Anderson. He's with Army Armstrong.
Dennis Anderson going to the final, second night in a row, but every one of these guys that you're running against will do anything they can to beat you. It's almost a love-hate relationship, and you're not on the love end of it by any means.
No, that's right, Army. I mean, every time I line up, I know nobody's not going to cut the Gravedigger any slack, so I got to give it all.
Does it feel good to you tonight?
Yeah, man, I'm feeling good.
These people in Charleston are loving every minute of it. We'll see you in that final.
Great. We'll see you later.
One more time, isolated Gravedigger. Dennis Anderson works his way into the Monster Smash final for the second week in a row here in 1990. Now, Army, you know, you could have figured or you could have expected a lot of people to pick the Gravedigger to be in the finals, but his opponent is going to be a surprise no matter if it's Thunder Chicken or Pony Express.
We've been talking all night long, or I have, about how lucky Thunder Chicken's been. Luck will do something constantly. It will run out on you. Will it run out when he's going against the Pony Express? Be a dream final if this kid comes from out of nowhere to go against the Gravedigger in the final. Who's it going to be? Look at this. God, do you believe this? This kid out of New Jersey's going against the Gravedigger.
Anthony Fortier. Put that name down. He may be one to watch in the future in monster truck racing, and he's trying to make the future right now. He has come up against the best in the world, and he has shot his way into the final. Pony Express will race Gravedigger in the Monster Smash. The kid's got a smile ear to ear, and he's going over to talk to Army Armstrong about being in the final.
Well, really getting into it. You're going to be going into the final representing the Ford camp. How's it feel to you out there?
It feels good. It feels real good. Going up against a strong competitive. I'm going to give it my best, and I'm hoping to come out ahead of the game.
In our last interview, you brought out the point that you're not a professional, you don't do this for a living. There's some trucks here you're kind of worried about. Is the Gravedigger one of the trucks you're worried about?
Yeah, he's one of the big ones. He's one of the ones that I've always feared, and now I'm going to see what I can do against him.
Does he have a psychological advantage over you, or can you put him away, or are you conceding that he's going to beat you?
I don't think anybody's going to beat me. I have a mind. I'll go out and race, and I'm going to go out full all out. I'm not going to let nothing come between me and first place. I'm going to do my best.
There's no excitement like that of being in the arena live for TNT Motorsports action. Look for the Major League of Professional Motorsports, TNT, when it comes to your town. TNT 1990 coming at you on tour. The granddaddy of them all, the National Farm Machinery Show, all the superstar pullers in Louisville. In Roanoke, Virginia, look for the TNT Monster Trucks. 3 great battles in Roanoke. The Monsters are also coming to Biloxi, Mississippi, the Mississippi Coast Coliseum, February 16th and 17th. Then TNT works its way into Salt Lake City, Utah. Bigfoot heads the card in Salt Lake City. And in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, the Monsters are coming. It's been an incredible night of side-by-side competition, and we are down to the final 2 in Charleston, West Virginia Civic Center. It's time for the Monster Smash. Because the kid has done it. Anthony Fortier out of Bloomfield, New Jersey, has stunned the monster truck racing world.
The American dream. Anybody can be a winner if you put your heart in it. This is proof. Look at this.
And what a win for the Ford camp. You see Nick Rossi. Hey, he didn't win it, but he's out to congratulate that Ford. Gravedigger with drive shaft problems. But Anthony Fortier has done it. He has stunned Dennis Anderson and the Gravedigger. The kid gets the win. Pony Express, Steve Wilke. This is, hey kid, you did it. Army, here it is again. I'm in shock.
Hey, Gravedigger made a good run, came over the first jump, but look who's run in, stayed down this time. The Pony Express, and that's what won it for him.
Dennis Anderson had lane choice. He earlier ran the fastest run of the night from the right lane, but he let Pony Express have it. Nonetheless, after racing in Birmingham and here in Charleston, Gravedigger has moved into the point lead. Equalizer up to number 2, Awesome Kong 3rd. Crunch coming on at number 4. Jersey Outlaw 5th. Mad Dog and Thunder Chicken tied for 6th. Pony Express jumps up to the 8th spot. Mopar Magic and Gary Wiggins 9th. And Jim Miller's Barbarian moves into the top 10. Wow, incredible racing action in Charleston. And the kid, Cinderella, shocks them all. Pony Express beats Gravedigger. Join us next week. You never know what'll happen on Tuff Trax.